me coffee.
Hey, Kate.
Hi.
It's
How are
Shauna
you?
with the Aboriginal Sports Circle.
Hi. I'll just get my audio going and then I'll get started. Are you joining us, Shauna?
I'm pregnant right now, so I don't know if I can.
Yeah, it's up to you. Lots of women do yoga when they're pregnant. So it's totally up to you. I usually just say, do what you can, do what feels good, and skip what you don't like.
Okay.
I'm just turning on my external sound. I was making a video outside yesterday, so I had all my items packed up. So I have one student here at the studio, so I'm going to go ahead with the practice, and you're welcome to join for as much or as little as you want.
Awesome. Thanks.
Usually there's a couple people who sign in late, but if no one does, that's okay. I'll just keep going. Hi, Jane.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just one second. I'm just going to turn my speaker on so I can hear you too. There we go. I can hear you now. Hi, Jane. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome. So we'll get started right now. If you want to turn on your video, it's always great when I can see the students too.
Yeah.
Of course, optional, but it's nice. And I just have my mat. I'm not sure where you're practicing, but if you have a really thick book that would emulate a block, or maybe you have a yoga block with you, that would be helpful. All right, how's the sound? Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. I think, so Shauna's going to come in and out when she feels comfortable with the practice, and we'll get started. I always start seated. Just whatever excitement it took to get onto my mat. The seated part is just a chance to let that go. So start with 3-part breath. That's your belly, your ribs, and your chest. Expand as you breathe in. Pause for a brief second at the top, and then breathe out. Ribs, chest, belly. Keep going with that. Now keep your attention on the 3-part breath, belly, ribs, and chest, but this time inhale your hands up and overhead. And then exhale your hands down by your sides. So bit by bit, adding more and more things to your practice, more and more elements to hold your attention. Reach up and exhale. Attention on the expansion of your belly, your ribs, and your chest, and then adding the movement to hold your attention. Hands down. Do 5 more. Just feeling your way into the movement. Two more. You can add your neck on this next one. So as you exhale, tucking your chin to your chest, looking down. And then as you inhale, reach up, lifting your gaze up to the sky, looking up. And then last one. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, arms, gaze fills up with breath. And then exhale, hands, chin to chest, chest, ribs, belly. Pause here, both hands down on the mat. Plant your left hand on the mat beside your hip. Reach your right hand up and over your ear. And then come back and forth here. So inhaling up, exhale, right hand down, reach up and over. So I call this practice gentle flow. It's because each of the poses are intended to be as difficult or as easy as you need them to be. So if you need this pose to be a little bit harder, you could bring your elbow down onto the mat and then your hand reaches up and over. So whether you choose to make the practice difficult or easy, be intentional about it. You need to take it easy on yourself on this Monday morning. Good. If you feel like you didn't treat yourself that well this weekend and you need a more vigorous practice, that's good too. Do one more each side. And then come back to where we started, left hand or left elbow down, and bring your right hand behind your head. Point your elbow up towards the sky, look up. Press the mat away from you with that outstretched left hand, looking up. Take a deep breath in and feel lots of length through the right side of your body. And then do the same thing on the other side. And then come up, sit up really tall, hold onto your knees. Use that leverage of holding onto your knees to straighten up your spine. Really tall, proud posture. Squeeze your shoulders towards, or shoulder blades towards each other. Shoulders drop away from your ears. Chin slightly tucked to your chest. One breath in this meditative seat. Exhale completely. And then movement for your spine. So circles with your torso. They can be big or small. Just moving around. As you lean back, you tuck your chin to your chest, sort of round through your spine. And as you come forward, you stick your chin out in front of you. Good. Close your eyes and just feel your way through the mobility in your spine. So whether you're feeling really mobile or maybe your low back or your shoulders are stiff, just meet yourself where you're at, where you are right now. It doesn't really matter why we feel a particular way on a particular day. We just do the practice just to sort of celebrate what's going on right now. Or maybe to take note of what we could do a little bit differently. Switch directions. So chin is sticking out as you come forward, and then chin tucks back into your chest as you come back. And then slowly come back to center. Sit up in that tall, straight meditative seat. Chin is slightly tucked into your chest. Sit up just a little bit taller and then tuck your low belly in. So engaging your core strength to sit here. Bring your hands together in front of your heart center and acknowledge the teacher within so that this moving meditation, you acknowledge your mind and your body on the mat. And I emphasize your mind and your body. So pay attention to what you need. Be decisive about how you move through the practice. Walk your hands forward, come into a forward fold. Stretch your hands as far forward as you can. And then wherever you end up, spread your fingers as wide as you can on the floor. Press down equally into both hands and tuck your chin to your chest. Feel that nice stretch between your shoulder blades. Elbows are straight. Wrists are lifted away from the mat. And there's a little pocket of air in the center of your palm. Each palm. And then walk your hands back towards you. Plant your hands beside you, lift up into a back bend. Look up, lift your chest and your gaze up to the sky. So now your fingertips are just lightly resting on the mat. And then one more time, come all the way forward. Just walk your hands forward. Forward fold, very assertively pressing your hands down and into the mat, into the floor. And then walk your hands back, come to that back bend, fingertips lightly resting on the mat behind you. This was a full range of motion for your spine, seated. And then we'll do that on our hands and knees, and then we'll do that standing. Come on to your hands and knees. Don't need the block or your book just yet. And come into a modified down dog. So puppy pose, hands are outstretched in front of you, wrists and elbows lifted off the mat, chin folding towards your chest. So feeling quite a strong stretch through your shoulders, between your shoulder blades and in your upper back. And then come onto all fours, hands right underneath your shoulders, and make some big circles with your hips. So you can close your eyes for this. You're just feeling your way through this range of motion on your hands and knees. Lifting hips back towards your heels and then forward. Just a reminder to link your breath with your movement. So you exhale as you press back. And you inhale as you press your chest forward. Just keep going. And then stop and switch directions. And then come to a flat back. So just as you were seated in that meditative seat, right now come to a tall, straight spine on your hands and knees. And then the equivalent back bend is cat-cow. So inhale, lift your gaze up into cat for the back bend, and then the forward bend is cow, chin to chest. 3 or 4 rounds of that. Inhaling into the back bend. And exhaling forward. And we're going to come into down dog and hold for 5 breaths. So move your hands 1 hand length ahead of where they are. Glue your hands down to the mat. Slowly straighten your legs, press your heels down and into the mat. Settle in, find a comfortable width for your feet. Maybe it's hip width apart or wider. Press into both hands. Fix your gaze on the mat between your feet. And then the only thing that moves is your belly, your ribs, and your chest as you inhale and exhale 5 rounds of that 3-part breath. Bring your feet back to hip width apart if they were wider, and then come to a high plank, shoulders above your wrists. Settling into a couple of demanding poses, 5 breaths here. So set yourself up, shoulders stacked above your wrists, fingers spread wide. And then once you settle in, 5 breaths, 3-part breath, belly, ribs, and chest. So with these long folds, you're training yourself to stay situated on the present moment. We'll add movement in a moment, but right now, just belly, ribs, and chest. Inhale, expand, and exhale. 2 more deep breaths. One more. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Exhale. Setting up for Cobra. Hands are right underneath your shoulders, fingertips lined up with your shoulders. Point your toes, and then breathing Cobra. So as you inhale, you lift as high as your back will tolerate. And then as you exhale, you lower down. If you need a little bit more challenge, you can lift your hands up and off the mat. So inhale, lift as high as your spine will tolerate. Exhale, lower down. Do 3 more. Last one, lift. And lower down, exhale. Hands come back down if they were lifted. Press back to child's pose. Wide knee child's pose for now, knees wide, big toes touching. Sit your hips back down and onto your heels. If your forehead, I think your forehead reaches down, but if it doesn't, you can grab your block or the book. You have something to connect your forehead with. Rest here for 5 breaths. So you're resting, but your fingers are still spread wide. Wrists and elbows are lifted up and off the mat. Training your mind to stay present on the pose, on the practice. One more deep breath here. And then tuck your toes, press back, downward facing dog. This time movement, so pedal out your feet. Stretching one foot and then the other. So toes stay down, heels lift, just to stretch through the sole of your foot. And then look to the top of the mat, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Feet in between your hands. Bring your hands onto your shins, or if you can reach, your hands can stay on the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold forward, chin to chest. Do that 3 times. Halfway lift, inhale. As long as your hands are in contact with something, so the mat or your shins. One more time. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale and fold. And this time you're going to roll 1 vertebrae at a time all the way up to standing, and then reach your fingertips. Turn your gaze up, take a deep breath in at the top. Bring your hands together at heart center. Pause here for a moment. Acknowledge the teacher within. And then we'll come through 2 sun salutation A's. So feet are hip width apart. Lift up all 10 toes, and then one by one, plant them down on the mat. Grow your foundation from the bottom up. Engage your kneecaps. Tuck your hips under, so your tailbone tucks under. Core strength engages, tummy in. Shoulders down and away from your ears. Chin parallel to the mat, gaze straight ahead. Palms pressing together. So Samastitihi, equal standing pose. Inhale, your hands up and overhead, upward facing salute. Exhale, hands to the mat or to your shins, forward fold. Halfway lift and lengthen. Inhale, half lift. Step or walk back to plank. Lower your knees, chin, and chest. Modified chaturanga. Belly down, lift into cobra. Hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, child's pose to down dog. Take 3 breaths there. Great. So be intentional. Your feet can be hip width apart,
or they can be as wide as the mat, whatever feels good for your hamstrings. Fingertips pressing into the mat, little pocket of air underneath the palm of both hands. Gaze between your feet. Look forward. Step or walk, feet in between your hands. Halfway lift and lengthen, breathe in. Chin to chest, fold forward. Roll all the way up to standing. Root down into your feet to rise up, reach up and look up. Hands to your heart center. Start with the firm foundation. Pick up all 10 toes, press them back down. Feet strong, knees strong, belly strong and engaged. Shoulders engaged, chin parallel to the mat, looking straight ahead. Second round, sun salutation A. Reach up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back, plank. Lower your knees, chin and chest. Belly down, low cobra, inhale. Child's pose to down dog, exhale. If down dog doesn't feel appropriate, you don't want to, just stay in child's pose for 3 breaths. All right, we're doing down dog, great. Look forward, step or walk to the top of the mat. Feet together, halfway lift and lengthen. Chin to chest, fold forward. Stand up, inhale, reach up. Samastitihi, hands together at heart center. We'll do one more. Pause here, find that firm, steady foundation. Last sun salutation A, reach up, inhale. Exhale, folds. Look up, breathe in. Step back to plank, breathe out. Lower your knees, chin and chest. Belly down, chin lifts, low cobra. Child's pose to down dog, exhale. So during my practice, my mind wanders off maybe 100, 200 times, and it's all these little physical cues that bring my attention back. So maybe lift all 10 toes in your down dog, one by one, press them back. Maybe remind yourself to weight your hands equally. Maybe come back to your 3-part belly, ribs, and chest breath. Whatever it is, wherever your mind goes, just gently guide your attention back to this practice. Look to the top of the mat. Step or walk forward. Feet together, knees together. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Chin to chest. Fold forward. Stand up. Reach up. Look up. Samastitihi. So equal standing on both feet. Equal pressure between your hands. Stand firm and steady. Bring your hands to your waist. Pick your right foot up off the mat, and then step it all the way back to a lunge. As far back as you can. Hands are on your waist, lean back slightly. Lift your chest and your gaze up. You could bring your knee down to the mat here or not. Keep your hands on your waist. If your knee is down, lift it up and off the mat. And then just bend and straighten your knee 3 times. So the end point isn't to go deeper into a lunge, it's just to get some blood flow into that left knee. Keep your gaze up towards where the ceiling meets the wall, up to the horizon. And then on the 3rd time, bend your left knee and sweep your hands up to the sky into a really deep lunge. Look up. From here, warrior 2, pivot on your back foot. Gaze out over your left middle fingers. Great, bring that left hand down to the inside of your left knee and then press the back of your palm. Just a modification for warrior 2, press the back of your palm into the inside of your knee.
Bend your left knee a little bit deeper. Great, and then straighten your arms back to warrior two. Reverse your warrior, right fingertips down on your back of your right knee. Reach your left hand up and over your ear. Come back to warrior two. And do that 2 more times. Left hand reaches up, keeping that deep bend in your left knee. 2. And then 1 more. Exalted warrior, reaching up and back. Come to warrior two. And then extended side angle. So that modification we did earlier. Left elbow rests on left knee. Right hand reaches up and over. So keep those left fingertips strong and active. The supportive arm. Keep the bend in your left knee. Bend your left knee just a little bit deeper. And then stand back up to warrior two. Both hands come down to the mat in a low lunge, and then step back, downward facing dog. Exhale. Look to the top of the mat, walk or step your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold. Stand up, inhale. Hands to your waist, pick up your left foot, step back to the lunge. Hands are on your waist first, lean back, look up. And now reach up. Keep your gaze lifted and bend and straighten into your right knee. 3 times, inhaling as you straighten, exhaling as you bend. And then with your knee bent, open up to warrior two. Turn your right palm up. Exalted warrior, reach up and back. So lots of space through the right side of your body. And back to warrior two. Tall, straight spine. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale. 1 more. Warrior two. Stay with that physical challenge. Yoga begins when you want to exit the pose. Train your body and your mind to stay present. Stay with it. Extended side angle, right elbow to right knee. Reach up and over. So this is the full range of motion with standing. We did the lunge for the back bend, and then these deep side stretches. And then in a moment, the forward fold. Inhale back up to warrior two. And then look down and you plant your hands down on the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Exhale. In this down dog, lift up onto your tippy toes, lifting your heels as high as you can. Press your heels down towards or into the mat. And do that twice more. Lift up. Heels down. So adding on just a little bit, step your right heel to the sky, point your right toes. Step through to a lunge, but keep your left hand on the mat, reach your right hand up to the sky, twist. So lunge, twist, looking up at your right hand. And then scoop your right arm underneath your left, keeping the bend in your right knee, and come in and out of that 3 times. So your attention now is on your right hand. Follow your right hand with your gaze as you scoop under and reach. 1 more time. And then on the last time, reach up, stay, look up. 3 deep breaths, belly, ribs, and chest expand. Hands down on either side of your front foot. Pyramid pose or intense side stretch. Step your left foot a bit closer to your right. Bring your hands to your waist and then stand all the way up. Inhale. So this is a really intense standing stretch for your hamstrings. Cross your hands behind your back or reverse prayer, your choice. Look up slightly and then fold over your right leg. Steady gaze on your second toe of your front foot. Take 5 breaths here. Stay with your breath, with the pose, with the attention. You're pressing down really firmly into your right big toe, but you're looking at your second toe. Lots of things to hold your attention. Keep that pressure with your right big toe, ground down. Come to warrior 3, bring your hands to your waist, and then just glide up and off your left foot. Hands can stay on your waist, find your balance, find your breath. If you need a bit more challenge, reach your hands out to the side, or maybe all the way forward, warrior 3. Round down into your right big toe. 2 more deep breaths in, belly, ribs, and chest. Last one. Bring your hands back to your waist. Carefully land back to pyramid. Land your left toes on the mat, straighten your right knee. Lots of pressure with your right big toe on the mat. Inhale, stand yourself up. Step your left foot up to meet your right at the top of the mat. We'll flow through to the other side. Sweep your hands up to the sky. Inhale. Fold forward. Exhale. Halfway lift. Inhale. Step back to plank. And then lower knees, chin, and chest. Modified chaturanga. Belly down, low cobra. Child's pose to down dog. Exhale. I like these little vinyasas throughout my practice because they reset, they hold my attention. They're an ordered sequence of poses staggered throughout the practice. Left leg high, point your toes. Step through to lunge. Reach your left hand up to the sky. Look up at your left hand. Keep your gaze on your left hand. Swoop it underneath your right. Exhale. 3 times like that. Inhale, reach. And then finally reach up, look up, and stay a while. So getting set up for pyramid, start by grounding down into your left big toe. And then bring both hands down, straighten your left leg. Step your right foot a bit closer. Hands on your waist, stand up, inhale, press into your left big toe. Take whatever arm bind feels good for your shoulders. Lift your chin, look up. Fold into pyramid. Lots of pressure under your left big toenail. Steady gaze on your toes. Just this pose and your breath holding all your attention. Your mind wanders off, but gently come back. And then use the challenge of warrior 3 to hold your attention. Hands on your waist, right leg lifts, ground down into your left big toe. Take the full expression of the pose if you want. 3 deep breaths. Hands to your waist, carefully come back to pyramid. Right foot lands on the mat. Stay in the pose for a moment. And then inhale to stand up. Step your right foot to the top of the mat. Samastitihi, equal standing on both feet, hands together at heart center. Acknowledge the teacher within. Sometimes after a little bit of movement, it's a good time to set an intention for the rest of your day. Not getting off the mat just yet, but you can acknowledge that there is a later time. There's the rest of the day coming at you. Set your intention. And then we'll come down to sit. So extend your hands out in front of you, palms facing down. Lift up as high as you can on your tippy toes. Strengthen your feet, looking straight ahead. Keep looking up, don't look down, and then slowly start to bend your knees. Finding the strength in your feet. Slowly lowering down until your hips sit down on your heels, but keep your heels lifted. Palms, fingertips pointing out in front of you, palms down. Bring your hands onto your knees. Really intense stretch for the soles of your feet, looking straight ahead. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Lift your heels a little bit higher. And then sit your palms down on the mat. Pretty peaceful there. Extend your legs out in front of you. Stretch your legs straight on the mat. Draw an imaginary line behind your knees. And then plant your feet where that imaginary line was. Knees, ankles, and feet together. Left arm wraps around your knees. Twist over your right shoulder. Take 5 deep breaths here. So this back hand, it's just kind of for show. You're not leaning on your right fingertips. You're using your core strength to stay in this twist. Press both feet into the mat. Squeeze your knees and your ankles together. One last deep breath in. And then to switch sides, reach both hands up to the sky. Strong through your whole spine. Lots of length in the sides of your waist. And then right arm around your knees. Left fingertips just lightly resting on the mat, twist. Breathe deeply. Both hands reach up, strong through your core, long through your waist. Look up. And then keep your hands reaching up, but press the soles of your feet together. Knees come wide. Setting up for Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees wide. Hands are reaching up. And then bring your thumbs down onto your arches. Look up, breathe in. Couple of seated forward folds. So fold forward. If your chin was going to land on the mat, imagine that it would land beyond your feet. So just by that little imagery, maybe feel a little bit more length through your spine. And then softly close your eyes. Soften your forehead and your jaw. And just comfortably settle your mind into this funny little yoga shape. Come up halfway with a breath in, and then come up all the way with a breath out, and come into shoelace pose. So left knee bent down on the mat, and cross your right knee over top. So it doesn't really matter what the shape of your knees look like, but try to nestle both sit bones down into the mat. And then we're going to use this fairly demanding shape with our arms to hold your attention. So Right arm reaches up behind your head. And if you can, clasp your hands behind your back. If you can't, just hold on to your shirt. Look up, lengthen your spine. And then tip forward, and your chin will come beyond your knees. So come to sort of an edge of discomfort, so you can really feel the intensity of the stretch. And then just sit with it. Stay for 5 breaths. Come up, inhale. Come all the way up, exhale. And then switch sides. Set up your arms. If you're right-handed, the left arm up might be a little bit stiffer. Point your elbow straight up to the sky if you can. Lift your chin. This feels a little bit awkward. Look up and then fold forward. And stay a while. The magic of the practice, I find, is training my mind and body to sit with something slightly uncomfortable and just to stay with it. Just to solidify that commitment in my mind. Come up part way, breathe in. Come up all the way, breathe out. Unravel your legs. So feet are flat on the mat, but hip width apart. And just make a fist and then measure out your feet. So plant the fist right in between your big toes. So that's about hip width apart. Now don't move your feet. And then slowly lie down onto your back for a series of back bends. Feet are hip width apart. Don't move them for this whole series. Plant your elbows down on the mat beside your waist. Point your fingertips up to the sky, palms facing each other above your belly. And then peel one vertebrae at a time up and off the mat into bridge pose. Feet are hip width apart. Ground down into your feet. Ground down into your big toe mounds. Clasp your hands behind your back. Knuckles pointing to your feet. Look straight up at the sky. Take 5 deep breaths, belly, ribs, chest. And then lower down. We're going to come up 3 times, but take a little break in between. Just let your knees fall in together. Bring your feet the width of your mat. So now you're supported by the mat, but keep your attention on the 3-part breath, belly, ribs, and chest. So the rest is for half as long as the intensity. So in this case, it's 2.5 breaths. And on the 3rd inhale, you're going to lift back up to bridge. Up you go, inhale. Exhale to settle in. And then 4 more deep belly, ribs, and chest breaths. into your big toenails. Look up at the sky. Exhale to lower down. Take rest. Third and final back bend. On your next inhale, up you go. Clasp your hands behind your back. Look straight up at the sky. Press into both big toenails. 5 deep breaths. Belly, ribs, chest. Chest, ribs, belly. 1 more. Lift your hips a bit higher. Challenge your attention, stay here. Challenge your body, stay strong. And then finally, exhale all the way down. Press the soles of your feet together, knees wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. So Supta is reclined. Baddha Konasana is the same pose we did for before. Soles of your feet together, knees wide. One hand on your heart, on your chest, one hand on your belly. Breathe deeply. We're going to close with a supported inversion and then Shavasana. So if you're by the wall, you could drag your mat over there, prop your legs up on the wall. If you have your block or your book and you're in the middle of the room, slide that prop underneath your hips. Extend your toes towards the sky. So your toes are just lightly flexed, or lightly pointed, I mean. Point your toes towards the sky. Bring your hands, whether you're propped up against the wall, okay, in the middle of the room, good. Bring your hands onto your ribs. Stay with this inversion for 10 breaths. And just very patiently notice as your ribs expand as you breathe in. And then as your ribs contract and knit together as you breathe out. 9 more breaths. Just noticing that steady breathing rhythm. going, attention on your breath, point your toes. So these physical poses have all these physiological benefits. In this case, the inversion reduces swelling in your feet, your knees, your ankles, your whole lower limb. But the real magic of the practice is this steady and consistent awareness of your breath. And you use that attention for all these magical benefits of the practice. Calm decision making, clear sense of intention. And then maybe other physiological benefits such as reduced blood pressure, reduced tension headaches. Keep going, keep breathing. And then we're going to settle into Shavasana as carefully as we settled into each pose. So get rid of your prop. Let your legs fall one by one, the width of your mat. Turn your toes out. Hands are still on your rib cage. So toes are turned out to the side. Hands are still on your rib cage. And then one by one, turn your hands beside you, turn your palms up to the sky. Just releasing that attention on your breath. Finally, open your eyes, stare straight up at the sky. Take one final aware breath, awareness in one final breath. And then exhale loudly and settle into rest. Wake yourself up, make fists, and then stretch your fingers out, sort of flick your hands out of the fists 4 times. Wiggle your toes. Come onto your side. Pause there. Remind yourself of your intention that you set midway through your practice. And then leave the whole practice, accept the intention behind, and come up to sit. Back to that meditative seat where we started. Just one deep breath, belly, ribs, chest. And then exhale. Hands together at heart center. Acknowledge the teacher within. The time we made for ourselves to do our yoga practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. This practice is every Monday at 11. And then through Taiga, we also have Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 a.m. and Wednesday at noon. And then we have yoga teacher training happening in July, July 6th to 25th as well. So thanks for practicing, Jane. Are you in Yellowknife?
Yeah, thank you, Kate.
You're
So,
welcome.
what did you ask?
Are you in Yellowknife?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I am, yeah.
That you're at home.
Yes, yeah. And are you in the Taiga space? I can't tell.
I am, yes.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
Thinking, wow, you've got a nice yoga space at home.
No, but I feel like this is my home. I spend all day here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
David has the yoga in the park soon. Can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
it's on Wednesday. Bree is teaching that. It's at 5:30 in at City Hall.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, I'm sure there'll be lots of other outdoor classes happening, but that's the only one that we know of so far.
Yeah, great. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye, Shauna.
Bye.
Have a
Bye,
good day.
Shauna.